Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's story, we witnessed a truly warm and heart-touching moment in the family of CEO Tung and Ly Tu Anh. After many difficulties and challenges, they finally get to enjoy peaceful happiness with their newborn baby. Ly Tu Anh gently cares for her child, giving all her love as a mother, while CEO Tung stays by her side, quietly supporting and taking care of both mother and baby with deep affection. There are no more business pressures or corporate struggles, only pure family love remains. Every glance and every small gesture reflects the deep bond between them. This is a moment where happiness does not come from something grand, but from simply being together with loved ones. If you enjoy emotional love stories and meaningful family moments like this, don't forget to like, share the video, and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss the next episodes. Your support is our motivation to continue creating more beautiful and inspiring stories. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. In the quiet warmth of the early morning light, the small family home felt like a world of its own, gently separated from the rush and noise of everyday life. Soft sunlight filtered through the curtains, casting a golden glow across the room where Ly Tu Anh sat peacefully, holding her newborn child close to her chest. The atmosphere was calm, almost sacred, as if time itself had slowed down just to preserve this moment of pure maternal love. Ly Tu Anh's face carried a delicate mix of exhaustion and serenity. The sleepless nights and endless responsibility of caring for a newborn were evident in her slightly tired eyes, yet none of that could overshadow the deep happiness that radiated from her expression. There was something profoundly beautiful about the way she looked at her child, an expression that only a mother could truly understand. It was a gaze filled with unconditional love, protection, and an unspoken promise that she would always be there. The baby, wrapped gently in soft fabric, lay comfortably in her arms, feeding peacefully. Tiny fingers curled instinctively, occasionally brushing against her skin as if seeking reassurance. The rhythmic stillness of the moment brought a sense of harmony into the room. Every small movement, the baby's quiet breaths, the subtle rustling of fabric, and the faint sound of the wind outside, blended together into a soothing lullaby of life and love. Ly Tu Anh carefully adjusted her position, making sure her child was comfortable, her movements slow and thoughtful, as though she was afraid to disturb the fragile peace they were sharing. Despite the physical fatigue, she did not once show discomfort. Instead, she embraced the moment fully, knowing that these early days of motherhood were precious and fleeting. She gently stroked the baby's back, her touch soft and protective, as if she were shielding this little life from every hardship in the world. Outside the window, the trees swayed lightly in the breeze, their leaves shimmering under the morning sun. The world beyond this room continued its busy rhythm, but inside, everything revolved around this quiet bond between mother and child. There was no urgency, no pressure, no expectations, only love in its purest form. The simplicity of the scene made it even more powerful, as if the universe had paused just to honor the beginning of a new life. Ly Tu Anh's heart felt full in a way she had never experienced before. Every breath she took seemed connected to the tiny life in her arms. She realized that despite all the challenges she had faced, nothing compared to the feeling of holding her child so close. In this moment, she was not just Ly Tu Anh the individual, but also a mother whose entire world had been transformed by love. And so, in the gentle embrace of morning light, mother and child remained together in perfect stillness, surrounded by warmth, peace, and a love so deep that it seemed to fill every corner of the room. Standing quietly beside the bed, CEO Tung observed the scene with a rare softness in his usually composed expression. The man who was known in the business world for his sharp decisions, strict discipline, and unwavering authority now appeared completely different. In this moment, titles and achievements meant nothing. He was no longer the powerful executive who commanded boardrooms and negotiations. He was simply a husband and a father, deeply present in the most meaningful chapter of his life. His eyes rested gently on Ly Tu Anh and their newborn child. There was a warmth in his gaze that contrasted with the often cold and demanding world he came from. He watched the subtle rise and fall of the baby's small body, the peaceful way the child rested in the mother's arms, and the quiet strength Ly Tu Anh carried despite her exhaustion. For him, it was a reminder of how fragile yet incredibly precious life could be. Tung slowly moved closer, careful not to disturb the calm atmosphere. Every step he took was measured, as if he feared breaking the delicate balance of the moment. He noticed a small pillow slightly out of place behind Ly Tu Anh's back. Without saying a word, he gently adjusted it, ensuring she was more comfortable. His touch was light and careful, reflecting a tenderness that few people had ever seen from him before. On the nearby table, he had already prepared a glass of warm water. He picked it up and placed it within her reach, silently hoping she would remember to take care of herself amid the demands of motherhood. His actions were simple, yet they carried deep meaning. They were not gestures of obligation, but of love, quiet, steady, and sincere. As he stood there, Tung's attention shifted to the baby. The tiny fingers, the soft breathing, and the delicate expressions fascinated him. He leaned slightly forward, his lips forming a faint smile, one that carried both pride and overwhelming emotion. This child was a part of him, a continuation of his life, but more importantly, a symbol of the love he shared with Ly Tu Anh. In that fragile little life, he saw hope, responsibility, and a future he was determined to protect. Despite his busy schedule and the constant pressure from his corporate world, Tung felt no urgency to leave. For once, time outside this room seemed irrelevant. Meetings, contracts, and business strategies could wait. Nothing in his career had ever given him the same sense of fulfillment as standing quietly beside his family in this peaceful moment. He gently placed a hand on the edge of the bed, grounding himself in the reality of what he had built, not just a successful career, but a family filled with love and trust. He glanced at Ly Tu Anh again, noticing how she instinctively adjusted her hold on the baby with maternal care. That simple movement filled him with admiration and gratitude. In silence, CEO Tung remained there, offering his presence rather than words. His support was unspoken but steady, like an anchor protecting everything he held dear. In that room, surrounded by softness and light, he was not a businessman chasing success, he was a man deeply rooted in love, committed to protecting the two most important people in his life. The room gradually settled into a deeper kind of quiet, the kind that does not feel empty but instead feels full of warmth, meaning, and unspoken connection. Ly Tu Anh remained gently cradling her baby, her movements slow and careful, as if afraid that even the smallest disruption could break the fragile peace they were all sharing. CEO Tung stood nearby, still and attentive, his presence steady like a silent promise that this moment of happiness would always be protected. As the sunlight slowly shifted across the floor, the entire space seemed to glow with a soft, golden hue. It was as if nature itself was blessing this small family, wrapping them in a gentle embrace. The baby, now calmer and content, occasionally made small sounds of comfort, tiny reminders of life's purity and innocence. Those sounds, though soft, filled the room with an indescribable sense of joy. Ly Tu Anh looked down at her child with a smile that carried both exhaustion and overwhelming love. Every second she spent holding her baby reminded her of how far she had come, of the struggles she had endured, and of the strength she never knew she possessed until this moment. There was no regret, no fear, only gratitude. The presence of her child had changed everything, turning her world into something more meaningful than she had ever imagined. CEO Tung finally sat down beside them, no longer keeping his distance. He gently placed his hand near the baby, allowing the tiny fingers to instinctively wrap around his own. That simple contact made something shift within him. It was not just emotion, it was realization. In that small grip, he felt responsibility, love, and a deep connection that went beyond words or status. He understood that his greatest role was no longer just building a business empire, but building a safe and loving world for his family. Ly Tu Anh glanced at him, and in that shared look, there was understanding without the need for speech. They had both traveled different paths to reach this moment, yet here they were, united in something far more valuable than success or recognition. Their love had become stronger through challenges, and now it was reflected in the life they had created together. The atmosphere in the room became almost timeless. No one was in a hurry. No one was distracted. It was just a family, fully present in their happiness. The baby's breathing, the soft rustle of clothing, and the distant sound of wind outside formed a gentle rhythm that seemed to hold everything together. Tung leaned back slightly, letting out a quiet breath he didn't realize he had been holding. For the first time in a long while, his mind was free from pressure. There were no deals to close, no problems to solve, only this moment, pure and irreplaceable. He understood now that success was not measured by wealth or power, but by the ability to protect and cherish moments like this. As the three of them remained together in peaceful silence, their hearts were quietly aligned. The house was no longer just a house, it had become a home filled with love, trust, and hope. In this simple yet powerful moment, they all understood one truth: happiness does not come from what you have, but from who you have beside you.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Ly Tu Anh Review. Vậy là câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay đã kết thúc tại đây. Nội dung câu chuyện hôm nay của chúng ta thì đã kể về việc đó chính là khoảnh khắc ngoài đời thực khi mà CEO Tùng cùng với Ly Tu Anh cùng nhau chăm sóc con gái đầu lòng mới sinh là bé Anna. Và khoảnh khắc hạnh phúc và thiêng liêng nhất cuộc đời mà CEO Tùng đã từng chứng kiến, đó chính là giây phút khi Ly Tu Anh cho con gái Anna bú đi. Đó là những giây phút thiêng liêng và hạnh phúc của cả hai. Mọi câu chuyện hấp dẫn về CEO Tùng và Ly Tu Anh còn được kể ở các video tiếp theo. Các bạn hãy đón xem nha. Cảm ơn các bạn. Bye bye.